Alright, we're back here. We've done pretty much all I think we're going to be able to on this one. I don't want to do any more because I don't want to potentially break it. If you look how thin that is already. We've got, it looks like it's supposed to look. Obviously there's some spots that could be better, but I'm happy with it as far as it not breaking. I mean, there's no point in making it. It's going to end up breaking. But we're going to go ahead and start painting. We have our little picture here, and the colors we need are black, put those over here, black, red, white, purple, and yellow. Don't know if the camera's picking those up. Alright, the main part of it is black. The skull is obviously white. The inner circle behind the skull is red, yellow, black, yellow. Headphones are purple. A little bit of silver on the arms of the headphones, yellow. The chain is red, and the cat is black with a little bit of white. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into it. And as always, I'm using acrylic paints, because I like acrylic paints. Like I said, you can put them on thin, and they don't have much of a sheen to them. They don't have much of a shiny finish. But if you put them on real heavy, they actually have a bit of a shiny, glossy look. So that's one way you can add texture just through the paint. I thought about trying to highlight some of these areas that we carved, but with a particular paint job on this one, it was going to be a little difficult. But I think it should show up pretty well, regardless. And hopefully, in the past, when I actually paint these, the paint gives a little bit more structural integrity to some of these that fragile areas. I'm not saying it will, and I'm not saying to count on that, but I'm just saying I have noticed in other carvings that have had some very thin areas, the paint gives it a little bit of stability. Not much though. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. And hopefully these angles are still good. And hopefully y'all are enjoying some of my wood carvings, because I'm gearing up for the Halloween Spooktacular. I'm still trying to decide exactly on which carvings I want to focus on. The number I'm shooting for is at least 3, just because I know in a month's time that's roughly a doable number without having to just work on them every single day. Because like this one, somebody asked me how long it took me. It's taken me about 4 days, but that's not like working on it non-stop. That's working on it, stopping for a little bit, working on it, stopping for a little bit. It's no fun if you get burnt out doing it, especially one like this that's got a lot of very fragile areas. I had to stop quite a few times just to make sure I didn't break anything. But I think it's pretty cool. I think it's turned out just like the picture, except for the little wooden chain link that in the actual one it looks like it's just a little piece of fabric holding it. But I think A, the chain looks better, and B, the fact that we carved a very tiny wooden chain link is really cool. I mean, I tried to show you all as much as I could on it, but it was a little nerve-wracking, to say the least. Sorry, the camera's moving around. I also have another large wood carving I'm doing. It's like a memorial plaque type deal. I don't know if I'm gonna video or not, because like I said, it's a memorial carving. I might not, or I might just try and figure out how to keep some anonymity and maybe just blur out the names and such. But it's a lot different techniques used, because it's gonna be the larger ones. We might even have to get out an old wooden hammer or something to get a carving the way we want. So that's something I thought I could bring that's a little new instead of all these little miniatures. Even though I really like doing these. It's my forte, I guess you could say. It's just something I wanted to do. It's real special, and also could maybe show you all a little bit different techniques. So maybe that'll be coming up next month or so. Like I said, right now I got this is what I call the birthday month, because I have one birthday at the end of the month, then I got two right at the beginning of September, and I don't buy presents really anymore because I'm just terrible at buying gifts. I don't know what people want. And what's better than a well thought out handcrafted gift? Especially when you know somebody likes. If anybody's wondering what the drying time is on this paint when you put it on, two things to keep in mind is A, how heavy you put it on. And by heavy I mean obviously heavy, like how much paint you're actually putting on there. I thin mine out quite a bit with water unless I'm wanting to get that nice glossy sheen to it. So it varies depending on how much you put on. But I'd say roughly an hour or so. I mean, you can start handling it after 20 minutes or so. And it's only a little bit tacky and it doesn't come off on your fingers, but I would say give it a full hour before you start really handling it. I'd give it a full 24 hours. If you're making something for somebody, I'd give it a full 24 hours before you actually give it to them. And that's if you don't put a coat of varnish or something on it and seal it. I've only done that with a couple of my wood carvings, and that stuff, depending on like the humidity and temperature and all kinds of stuff, depends on when that stuff dries. I don't know how long this video is running right now. We'll do a little bit more. Like I said, I'm trying to keep them in the 15-minute range so that I can actually show everything. Last time I screwed up and didn't know that there was a daggone time limit. I guess if you're somebody like me who doesn't really care for electronics and technology and all that, I'm not really up to date on different formats and everything. Tell you what though, I was stellar with floppy disk and stuff. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but like this little mat I have down here, it's not really a mat, it's an old piece of cardboard I sprayed some varnish on and let dry, and I use it to paint on and also carve on because it makes it easier to dump the shavings in a trash can. I keep a little bin next to my little wood carving table, and the shavings just slide right off that varnished cardboard, and you don't have to worry about getting anything messy. So nice to paint and not have to worry about if it gets on something. Hopefully these camera angles are still good. Trying to be mindful of the camera. Alright, let's go ahead and do the cat since he's black as well. And hopefully we have enough time for that. I wonder why he has a little cat and on the end of this thing. The keyblade thing's supposed to be like a sword from what I've looked up, and why is his little keychain got a cat? Don't know. I understand why it's called a skull noise. It's got a skull on there with headphones, so obviously some noise coming out of the headphones. You got a skull in the front, skull noise. That makes sense. But as far as the daggone cat, I don't have a freaking clue. Try not to get quiet on you guys here, but can't think of anything to talk about at the moment. At least not anything relevant. Alright, we get the front of this little cat done. I'm going to go ahead and shut it off now, that way we can make sure we're in our time frame, and we'll be back.